slammed you, he didn't bump you, he didn't nudge you, he rubbed you. And rubbing, son, is racing.
And welcome everybody to episode number 0, the very first recording of a little podcast we'd like to call Locked On iRacing. I think that's what we're going to call it anyway. I'm Wilco and I'm joined by Brayden. How you going, mate?
Good. Nice to be here.
It is nice to be here finally. We've been working on this for about, 3 or 4 weeks. I've had it in the back of my mind for about 12 months, but yeah, we're here, we're doing it, so that's the main thing.
Definitely, I think it's something that the community needs, to be honest. There's a lot of people interested in sim racing, especially over the last little while, so what a time to jump in.
That's it, exactly. I've looked around and there's a few American ones out there. There's the odd Australian one that's not the best, but I haven't found them all, so if you're out there and you're an Aussie one and you're doing it, good on you. That's the main thing, as long as you're doing it. So I'm not saying that we're going to be the best or anything like that, but we're here, we're doing it. So let's start with Brayden. Who are you, mate? Just quickly give us a rundown of your iRacing, how you got into iRacing and what you do in it and who you are.
Yeah, so obviously Brayden from SA, so Adelaide born and bred. Always been a big footy fan and always liked racing as a kid, but definitely
Go
wasn't
the Crows. Is that what we do? No.
Yeah, that's what we do when we want to annoy me. Always liked racing as a kid and never had the money to actually get into something serious. So, the odd go-kart track here and there for a little bit of fun when I got my own job. And then sort of fell into sim racing around COVID times, like a lot of us did last year. I'd probably spent a bit of time away from motorsport and watching it, but with nothing on, I found on Foxtel the E-Series for the supercars and enjoyed the personalities, enjoyed being able to watch back some different Twitch streams from different drivers' perspectives, and decided to get myself a second-hand G920 and strap it to a desk, and here we are many dollars later.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about money on this show at all. Well, that's E-Series. How did you find the E-Series, the first one?
Yeah, literally just scrolling through Foxtel with no live sport, and basically that's the only channels I ever frequent on my Foxtel subscription, so I should just get KO, but I do enjoy the nice crisp feed and not having to be 30 seconds delayed. So, just scrolling through one night, saw V8 Supercars E-Series, and I obviously avid Twitch watcher and YouTube watcher as well, so noticed that there were some actual real life V8 supercar drivers streaming, and jumped in and watched Scott Pye and enjoyed him and Gizzy having their debriefs after the races, and basically taking the piss out of each other.
Yeah, that's what it was all about. I think there's a few people just taking it for laughs most of the time, but Gizzy is obviously a freak of nature, and even when he's taking the piss out of people, he can still drive.
That's right.
Like no one's business. So you got in, and you're mainly a road racer in iRacing?
Yeah, I've dabbled in a couple of little oval drives here and there, but definitely road racer, and that goes along with probably what I watched as a kid. I was always a V8 supercar watcher. Didn't really get into the oval racing. The odd Colin McRae game here and there was always good for a little bit of fun, but definitely mainly road racing. And surprisingly, my sort of stock standard has been the open wheelers, because I've obviously been more of a V8 supercar fan as I was younger, but definitely got into Formula One as I've grown up a bit.
There you go. Yes, I'm very similar. I picked up iRacing because it was my birthday, and I think Scotty Morrison was giving out some money for the government at some stage, and I said I'm going to just spend that on a rig. And here we are. I think it's almost it'd be definitely over 18 months later. So I got in just before the COVID times.
Yep.
And really enjoyed it. That's it. I'm going to be a V8 driver because, like you, followed the V8s all my life, and jump in. I'm going to get to C-Class and just drive V8s, and that's going to be what I'm going to do. And sort of got to C-Class pretty quick, and then found the V8s were a nightmare to drive, and especially with so I started with I had a G25, the real old ones, so that was with Gran Turismo 4 when it dropped, and upgraded to the 920, and just wasn't ready for the big jump up in skill gap for that the V8s held. So I went back to MX5s and the like, and then all of a sudden stumbled across the Skippy, and that's what I've been mainly driving since. So
Very nice.
yeah, we both obviously come out of the Aussie Car Series. That's where we met each other. So season 6 starts tomorrow night. I've got to practice for that. But yeah, dabbling in the GT3s now as well, and a few other bits and pieces. So. But yeah, I played a bit of NASCAR when I was growing up, which is obviously the same team that's working on iRacing. So really love the old NASCAR, but still not up to speed on that. But that's something I really want to work on. And not like you, Colin McRae, so I play a little bit of rallycross when I can, but I haven't done that for a while because obviously Skippies. So I guess we've talked enough about us. We should probably talk about what we want this podcast to be. So Brayden, what's your ideas of what this podcast will end up being from your eyes?
Yeah, well, one thing I'm really interested in is the behind the scenes of the leagues and things like the broadcasting and how people found their way into sim commentary and those kind of things. So I'd really love to be able to get some guests on at some point in time and ask them a little bit about how they got started and a bit of the ins and outs of the behind the scenes, I suppose.
Definitely, that is one very big aspect, and a lot of my podcasts in the past have all been about getting guests on and diving into their backstory. So I'm very, very keen for that. I know we've got some contacts, so we definitely will be calling upon them at some stage. But yeah, we'll also do obviously a little bit of news, I guess, when big things happen in iRacing, like we just had week 13 finish and all the information drop for season 2. So we'll cover a little bit of that. We'll cover some esports results as far as some of the races in our local area. I guess we won't cover much of the big stuff unless there's some big things happening, but because all the other podcasts over in America do cover them. But definitely the local scene needs a bit more coverage.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for things in that nature. And if you do want to give us some results, contact us at lockedonlads.com is the email address for the website. Definitely hit us up or hit me up on Twitter, which is Wilco's Chill Zone, and we can definitely cover your series if you want to put those results out there as well. Get a bit more coverage in there.
I think it would be
just shining a little. What's that?
I was just going to say, I think it'd be nice to shine a light on the endurance scene that we're finally starting to participate in as well, and sort of how that journey took place and what it's like to actually participate in one of those massive events.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was definitely an experience and something I don't like. We've talked amongst ourselves, but we never really put it out there too much about what an arduous event that was and how most of us have stepped away from iRacing for just a couple of weeks to try and to get back into the groove again. But yeah, it's definitely a different scene. So yeah, we'll definitely be covering a bit of endurance, a bit of Skippy, a bit of all that kind of stuff. So if that sounds like what you want to do, then subscribe to the RSS feed. If you know anyone who is else who might be interested as well, definitely share it with them. That's the key thing. You can find all the content and all the links up on lockedonlads.com, or follow any of our socials, which we'll probably give out in a second. So Brayden, thank you for doing an episode 0 with me. We got through all the technical errors and got something out there, hopefully, if I can edit it tomorrow. But where can people find you, mate?
Yeah, so stream on Twitch from time to time, some of the races. So that's at twitch.tv/the1dwade. And on Twitter at Brayden Talks.
There we go. Go do that for sure. You can find me on all the Locked On Lads stuff. So Locked On Lads on Twitter, lockedonlads.com, Locked On Lads on Twitch. All those places you'll find me doing stuff. Locked On Lads on Facebook as well, and the YouTube channel Locked On Lads YT. Me personally on Twitter's probably the only place that I've got an extra account that's just for me, and that's Wilco's Chill Zone, which is an old little thing that I still go under. So check those out. Check out our other podcasts, which include Locked On Lads, The Man Cave, and hopefully returning soon, Nothing But Ramblings as well. So yeah, that's been a quick 5/10 minutes with us about Locked On iRacing and what it's got in store for the future. So hopefully you enjoyed, and we'll get our first episode out probably the next week or so. So keep an eye, like I said, subscribe to that RSS feed now and you'll get a notification as soon as it goes live. So thanks, Brayden, for your time, mate, and I will chat to you very soon, and we'll chat to everyone else in the next week.
Sounds good.
Okay, mate. See ya. Bye.